Welcome back to the BookEnds YouTube channel. Today we are talking about how your book evolves from the minute you write it to the minute it hits the shelves.
And it's a lot.
It's a doozy.
This is a question that came through my call for questions on the blog. So thank you to that reader. A lot.
You sit down, you write a book.
Yeah.
That book, you have to be conscious and aware of the fact that it's going to change a ton. From the title to maybe character names to plot to length.
Everything.
And everything is going to change.
I would say, in many ways, it may not be the same book.
Of course, it's always going to be a different book by the time it's published.
I mean, it really is going to... And every book is going to be different. How many revisions and how many changes you go through may be different than your critique partner,
yes.
Of course. But you're going to go through so many revisions.
So the first thing we could say is to trust that process. As long as you are moving in a direction that you are comfortable and confident in, trust the process. It's fine if it takes you 35 rewrites and it takes your friend 10. It's perfectly fine. So after you write the book, it should presumably be going to critique partners. It's going to change.
It's going to change. It should change.
Yeah, people are going to have opinions. You're going to like some of them. You're going to incorporate it. It's going to change.
But the key to all of this, too, is to also trust your gut.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of sort of in-depth soul searching,
it does, yeah.
Because your critique partners might have different opinions.
And visions.
And that's really key. And maybe that's a question you might need to ask. If you're struggling with something your critique partner or anybody in this process is asking you, maybe it is, well, what is your vision for this? Because making sure you're still on the same page is important. And if the vision is still the same, then you might need to think, okay, well, what are they really asking? What are they seeing as the problem? And how can I make this change in a way that I feel will still...
Exactly. So if they're pointing out something... I think it was Neil Gaiman who said, anybody who tells you what to change is dead wrong. Anybody who tells you something's not working, you should listen to.
Yeah.
So if someone's telling you something's not working for them, that's sort of the journey for you to take to figure out how you can fix that.
Right.
Because they're a reader, and they should presumably have that sort of innate understanding of why this isn't working.
Yep.
But if they're telling you this needs to be this way, then you can obviously parse that out the way you need to.
Right. Yes, I have clients who... I tend to be a... what if you do it this way person?
Right.
And
that's just an intention to, like, that your intention is to get the questions rolling and how could this be different?
Yes,
it's
and
not
to help
make
them see a different way, because I understand how frustrating it can be if I would just say, this doesn't work for me, fix it. And they're like, well, I don't even know what you mean by this doesn't
What's not
work.
Working?
But if I show an example of how a change can be made, the author may completely ignore my suggestion, which is fine, but hopefully it opens their mind to something different.
Right, and that's the process. So it's the same process pretty much over and over again.
Yeah.
So once you're done with your critique partners, you're going out for queries. Some agents might give you rejections with useful information. And your agent, when you land one, might give you the same.
You will get revisions from your agent.
Yes, you will, inevitably.
Yes, and I think there's a frustration a lot of times with authors who are receiving a lot of rejections because they know agents give revisions, so they don't understand why they don't take a chance on something. And there's sort of this weird, well, we take on things knowing we're going to revise them, but they have to be at a certain state. And there will be a lot of revisions, but yet somehow the book was nearly perfect.
And that is so subjective. So subjective. That perfect state of, okay, I'm convinced you can do it, it varies by agent.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, the whole... Even revisions and edits are subjective. Yeah. What I might think is problematic with the book, you might not.
Yeah. So then you're out on submission with your agent. You find a publisher. That book is going to change again.
Yeah. You're going to have an editor who's going to give you revisions.
Yeah, and make it more in line and publishable with that vision that you're creating together.
Yes. And so, you've gone through rounds and rounds of revisions, and there's no sort of, this is exactly how it's going to change, or it's going to be a certain percentage.
This is how many times it's going to change.
Yeah, none of that. It really is going to, every experience is different. And you're going to have your own with this. And then even once your revisions are done, when it goes to the copy editor, there could be minor changes. Yes, things like that. And then also...
title
is a big one.
It's always a big one.
Yes, your vision of the cover might be very different from what the publisher ends up with, or from their vision. So yes, your book is going to evolve a great deal. The hope and the goal is that with each of these steps, it has been stronger than what it was, but still very much your book.
Yeah.
That what these people who have all had a hand in doing is bringing out more of you and pushing you to a level that they believe that you can write and that this book can be, and that maybe you hoped it could be, but didn't know how to get there. So that's really the goal, is that this is a teamwork and it's not people doing things that you are against or resentful of.
Right. And like we always say, trust the process.
Trust the process and trust your gut.
Yeah.
If any during this process people are asking you to do something that you really just don't believe in, have that conversation with them. Because sometimes it's, I don't believe that, or I don't know how I can do that. And maybe it's just a conversation of, well, what were you trying to get me to do? Oh, I see that now. That's an easy fix.
Yeah.
So make sure you have open communication through the process. It'll make it a lot easier.
Yes, so good luck and happy revising. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments.
See you later.